Okay guys, here we are. We're doing a little bit of Protoss coaching right now. It's going to be a GM PvZ coaching. I'm coaching Varen here. Barcode Protoss up against Mamba. So this is GM level. Mamba's about mid-GM on EU. Varen's a little bit more on the lower end. And he's opening up with a Glaive Adept opening. So far it's just been a standard Glaive Adept opening. I'm actually going to stop watching his camera because he's super fast in terms of tabbing around constantly. It's a little bit dizzying to watch that way. But everything looks good with the build order. There we go, pylon going down there, so it won't be supply blocked. These gateways were down well on time. Non-stop adept production, so he's going to have 4 adepts out just in time. For warp gate research, the gateways to finish all around the same point, and then he can just warp in 3 adepts, have 7 adepts total, and push across the map with 6 or 7 of them. Might want to leave 1 in the wall, which is why sometimes it's only 6. Needs to get that 3rd base down now. Normally it's 3rd base into into the mothership core. But it looks like yeah. So he's gone for that extra pylon to make sure he doesn't get supply blocked. So he's actually delaying the mothership core just a little bit. Makes you just a little bit more vulnerable against all-ins, but the 3rd base is down, so that's fine. We've got 7 adepts there. There we go. So they're going to shade out across the map. You know, unfortunately, this wall-in does slow down this sort of pressure a little bit. It's a little bit of a pain, which is why some people like to move those adepts down early and then just warp them all in at the front. But he'll still get over there pretty quickly. So behind this probes, we've got a robo on the 3rd. Does need an extra pylon soon. He's going for the forge. 2 more gateways on the natural. Pretty much non-stop probe production, which is pretty nice. Alright, let's see. Ooh. Great surround here from Mamba. Does manage to keep alive 5 of the adepts. Not bad, but needs to shade again. Yeah. Needs to get the hell out of there. 3 sentries warping in. That's fantastic. You need that for scouting. Very important to warp in those sentries. You can warp in at most 3 more adepts after that, you know, previous adept warp in, and then you've got to go for this. And he's going to go straight for a Observer, probably Warp Prism off that, and already a Templar Archive is down, as well as 3 more gateways. Now, so this is something where he's seen Ling Bane, so I got to say, like, you do feel a little bit safer at this point. But part of me is wondering, is there vulnerability? Vulnerability to big all-in around 6 minutes 30 to 7 minutes. And the reason I'm saying that is extra gates weren't super fast and only went up to 6 gates at first. And this is just something where I wonder, because there wasn't a lot of scouting. However, he saw Banelings. So I think that already, like, Baneling attacks are much weaker than Ravager attacks in terms of just force fields and pylons can do well. And he had good pylon positioning. He added the 3rd pylon at the front. So yeah, now he's going for some hallucination scout, as well as a 4 adept warp prism maneuver, which is pretty awesome. Yeah, I mean, everything's pretty tight here. He's going to go for a very fast 4th base. Now, this is something which I personally like to skip out on a lot of the time, because I feel like at my level it's not that important to rush the 4th, even though at pro level, you know, you're meant to do that. But Varen here is really playing kind of like a textbook, let's just play the same way the pros do. Now, one thing that's missing is anti-meter pylons, but considering you got such a great scout off, I kind of can be like, yeah, that's fine, you've actually spotted. Unless there's a spire right there, you've kind of spotted everything. So he's warping in High Templar, already has 4 saving up energy. I think those are going to be an Archon High Templar. You can go to 6 saving up energy, but, you know, with so little meat in front, that's a little bit unorthodox. And one thing we do notice here is there's no second robo yet, and this is something which is very common in Europe. But no second robo. Definitely can be a little bit dicier. I don't agree with that. Zealot warping. So 7 minutes 40. It's a wasteful Zealot warp in. However, it's just minerals. And could have potentially bought more time. So not that big a deal. Alright, alarm's going on. Yeah, second robo's on the way now. So his second robo is quite late. So this is definitely like a more fragile way of playing this. And I feel like we've seen a lot of pros die. Oh my god, Baneling's coming from both sides. Wasn't paying attention. Just got completely wrecked. Actually, no. Ketty is too High Templar alive. I was gonna say. I was like completely wrecked. I'm like, wait, no, the High Templar actually survived. It's okay. Cute move from Alpha. So cute. Yeah. Decent hold, but you know, definitely he's still a little bit desperate now. It's like, yeah, you need to be adding a lot more gateways. So I think it's 8 gateways now. Oh no, there are 5 up there. So 10 gateways. Okay, so 10 gateways. Yeah, desperately needs more cannons and stuff at the front. War Prism's super important. And just needs, yeah, really needs to be chrono boosting the robos. Only one robo is being chrono boosted. Plus 3 attacks on the way. It's funny, because for me, I kind of prefer second robo as like just the most important thing for me to build, because it makes your life a lot easier against these attacks. Yeah, so I think what I'm going to start writing here for Varen, I'm going to talk to him about after the game, is things that could make your life, you know, your life easier. Even though they're not the absolute best if you're, you know, top 20 jam. Every single immortal barrier just got set off. Oh, that's a sick storm. That's a really sick storm. Desperately needs Archons right now. Like, really, really badly. You get 2 or 3 Archons in there, that army is so much more powerful than it is right now. Yeah. It's got the gas mining. Ooh, those High Templar have got to get up there. They've got to get up there. Those High Templar need to get closer to the action right now. Really bad High Templar micro. Oh, I didn't spot those drops. Okay, it's really bad. He was dodging them. Right. That was actually a great move by Mamba. My eyes are blind this morning. I was like, dude, what are these overlords doing? I thought they were just skipping. Intelligent human being that I am. Hey-oh, GG's. Bad luck, mate.
Yo, yeah, this is pretty much how most of my PvZ games go, actually, like exactly that, like that.
All right, well, let's hop out. Let's load up the replay, all 3 of us, and
sure,
we can do that. Do you want to? Yeah, do you want to host the replay up? So you just go watch with others, maybe invite us to party, and load that one up. That should be awesome. So just make sure I'm the lobby host once we're in there. And here we go. Awesome. Okay, so yeah. So a couple of interesting things. My notes aren't very useful right now. I was just kind of thinking out loud. There's nothing in there that's very important for you to read, but I'm gonna obviously link the document to you anyway. Can you type me your email again, just so I can share this? Actually, no, I've got it open right here. That's
in
fine.
Discord, or okay?
That's fine. I got it here.
Nice.
VarenSC2@gmail. There we go. Yeah, I will just share that with you right now. There we go. Yeah. And okay. Cool. Okay, so your opening was clean, it was crisp, it was all good. In terms of your adept pressure versus the Ling Bane, how do you feel that went? Good, bad, or just 50-50?
Honestly, I think it's pretty normal for when I play against like decent players, and they're usually prepared. So I just shade backwards all the time. Like ideally I want to check if he has a lot of drones at the third base, but if they have that many units, I think I can just go home. Like I've already done the damage by forcing out so many units. Like I think that was like 20 Lings and some Banes. So I don't think he could have had much more than 40 drones or so. In which case think I'm totally fine to just go home.
Good analysis. Yep, that's pretty much spot on. Yep, you don't wanna try and go any deeper there. I mean, you lost I think only 2 adepts from this round, and just ran home, which is good. That's what you kind of want to do there. If he had roaches instead of banelings, do you feel like you play slightly safer at home, like maybe get a few more gateways or get your gateways slightly earlier, or just because of the
Definitely, yeah. Like the thing is, oftentimes against Ling Bane, I'll even try to do like a 3-base adept push. Like I didn't do it this game because obviously I want to play a macro. But like if I see roaches, I'm a little bit more worried because I think most like people nowadays can defend this with Ling Bane pretty easily. So roaches usually mean some kind of aggression. So I'd probably just go for an Immortal first instead of the Prism and get my gates before Storm, like definitely before Storm.
Yeah.
Like I played pretty greedy this game, I would say. Like only 6 gates in the beginning, pretty fast Storm, pretty fast Forge. But I didn't really build too many units.
And I think that's fine, right? Though, because you've spotted Ling Bane. Ling Bane attacks are never as powerful, especially on this map, where he can't really get through your natural wall at all. Overcharge and force fields is just going to wreck any Ling Bane attack, right? So I like that you've got that different sort of just slight reaction. You know, get the Immortal faster, gateway slightly faster. If it was roaches. So that was just one small thing I was thinking about. I was like, I wonder if you're thinking about that. You are, therefore that's friggin' awesome. Now past this point, like everything's reasonably textbook here in terms of your timing. You know, can you find a probe gap in production at some point? I'm sure you can. You know, I'm sure there's tiny things you can focus on. But for the most part, you start doing really well here. You know, you're getting your Storm out very early. Now, one thing that's interesting with this, you know, very fast Storm play, when you're playing like this, is that you are delaying your second robo a long time, and you know, you're going very light on the meat. And the upside of this is obviously you get Storm faster, which is the most valuable thing, right? It's what allows you to really crush engagements. The downside is on a more open map especially, I feel like sometimes it can be just a little bit hard because they can just bait your Storms out because you just don't get enough meat up in time with your army. And I feel like even though second robo play, especially off this sort of opening, is something you will never see a pro gamer do anymore, it did have its time in earlier Legacy where it was very popular. Because everyone was just massing Immortals. And even in Korea, people have recently been going back towards faster second robos just to try and get a shitload of meat up in front of the High Templar, because Zerg have got so good with the Banelings coming in from multiple angles. Not thanks to me. I was also impressed.
What a guy. One thing is, like, usually our practice games go really one-sided, where I just die at like 8 minutes when he comes with the initial push.
His initial little Baneling split was so sexy. That was so cute. When he came in from behind. I wasn't on your camera at that point, but let's see this. So now, okay, actually, yeah, that walk. So with that Zealot walk in, I was thinking about that. I was like, this seems a bit odd because you're not sure if he's pushing you. You don't really know exactly what's going on. And yet you come in here and warp in those Zealots. I think that was like 7:30, right, when you did that? Or is it?
Yeah, around 7:30. Like, the thing is, honestly, I only did that warp in because I was floating money.
Right.
Like, that's an issue I have with this style, because Templar are so gas intensive, you're not really spending your minerals at all.
Yeah.
So, like, I just didn't know where to put my minerals, so I just warped in some extra Zealots there. Like,
yeah.
Without an Oracle, it's really hard to know where the Zerg is at this moment. Though I think I could have had a little bit better map vision this game, like just putting some Zealots out on the map, maybe.
Yeah, potentially. It's hard though. You do end up very blind. So I'm not going to say that Zealot warp in was like the worst thing anyway, because if he was pushing across the map with every unit and already breaking down those rocks and he hadn't left units at home, it would actually be really awesome to have warped in Zealots there, right? You could have bought yourself a lot of time. and it is just minerals. It's not the most important stuff. Yeah, so I think definitely that was not too bad. I do think a second robo would really help you out just because Immortals are just such a great mini unit. This was
Right.
I think this was a super key moment here, where if you force fielded him out and didn't lose the sentries, like that would have actually been massive. Because Guardian Shield is huge, as well as just force field with later engagement. If you can keep sentries alive, then this would be.
Yeah. I usually lose them the first engagement. This is pretty much how it always goes. Like the moment Hydra Bane rolls in, I just panic so much because the composition is so fast and you have to do so many things like force field, storm, split your units, keep the zealots back. So sometimes I just like freeze up and nothing happens and I just lose my army.
Yeah. So I guess I was writing something in the document. Basically, faster second robo is definitely something we want to look at, but potentially going second robo even before storm is something we want to keep in the back of our head. But for now, let's talk about regular second robo timing. It was super late this game, I think. So I'm just kind of looking, and I don't really have a set timing, right? Because I don't play this just as refined as you. I've watched Neeb do this dozens of times. I've watched other top Protoss players do it, but I've never really memorized when they get that second robo down. But I feel like here you could be dropping it, right? Somewhere around this point, like before even going for the fourth base, potentially. Or just after the fourth. What are your thoughts?
Like at this point, I felt like a little bit gas starved. I wanted to get like at least 4 High Templar out so they could gather energy for Storm. But I've never actually thought about adding the second robo this early. Like originally, I copied this style from Hearthstone because he was nice enough to send me a couple of free plays.
Yeah.
And he goes for like a really late second robo every game. So I just kind of like didn't even consider adding an earlier second robo. But it's definitely interesting.
Hearthstone plays very, very strange, doesn't he? It's weird, right? Because I think there's a lot to learn from certain things Hearthstone does. But at the same time, as a whole, I'd say his PvZ is very weak, in my opinion. Because he never gets enough meat up in his army, and he always goes to like 80 probes. Really fast.
Exactly.
And even when he gets a fourth base up and defends it, I've seen him lose a lot of games because he plays such a fragile style where I feel like if he plays perfectly, he will and should win most of his games. But he's so vulnerable because he just doesn't get enough Immortals up, and doesn't really get his Archons out that fast and just spends so much money on probes. He's very Warp Prism focused, and that's definitely something that you should always be. So this is just kind of musings. I think definitely you need to get your second robo like right. Let's aim for a 6-minute 30-second robo. Let's actually just squeeze it in a little bit earlier.
Okay.
Okay, so what we want is faster second robo. So basically, fourth base plus second robo will go down at the same time. Just to give you a little bit more production on that front. Now here, we see a pretty tough situation, right? Where because your Warp Prism, it has to rotate so far around to get to the other side of the map. He had really good overlord coverage, really good defense, and I think him keeping your Warp Prism away is really key here. Because if we look at how Amanda's playing this, he's not playing safe. If you've seen Alaza and Serral play recently, they always have like 6 Hydralisks and 20 Zerglings chilling at home. Because they know if the Warp Prism gets in, they don't have those units there, it's going to fuck them over really hard, even if it just kills a couple of drones, but it'll trade really well if they have to just trickle reinforcements in or pull their army back to deal with it. And that's what, buys you the extra 30 seconds or 40 seconds, which means 2 more Archons in front of your army, which combined with Storm means you just win, because your High Templar aren't dying in the engagements then, and you're just constantly regenerating energy and getting way ahead. And, and that can be really big. I like that point from Mamba there. Full wall at the ramp at the third would help. I don't know about the ramp necessarily, but just kind of, you could potentially have, I guess, a few more gateways there. Or even just a pylon up, I guess, here. Just, just so you've got some warning. Because that mineral line on your fourth is actually a little bit exposed. But I don't think it's the biggest thing to worry about. Like, you can deal with that with fast reactions with the Mothership Core and Probe Pool. But definitely something to keep in mind. But yeah, at this point, you really needed to be getting some zealots in there. And I think probably just staying around the top side is actually the best thing for you to do on this map. What do you think about just staying up there and just rotating between the natural and main, and just ensuring he's actually left enough units up there to defend? So like this point, you know, you come in, you see, okay, a ton of Zerglings, but I think he sends those off to join his army, right? I don't think he, or does he leave them here actually?
Later, no, I think he pulls them.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure.
Definitely just like rotating into the main, dropping there, you know, pulling out, going back to the natural, trying to be a little bit more annoying there. So we can be a little bit better with the Warp Prism harass. Okay, so Warp Prism, just stay in position, rotating, you know, rotating between two bases. Don't swap to the other side of the map. Unless it's a map where you only have literally one angle to come in. But here, because you've got two kind of wide angles, you've got the whole natural and the whole main, it's very different. So now let's take a look at this. This engagement, let's look at your vision. Okay, you see the rocks are coming down, you know they're coming down. Your Warp Prism sees he's got plenty of defense, you just queue that up, you say, okay, I can't really do anything with the Warp Prism right now. I'm trying to whoop in more Archons, you've got more Immortals coming in, you spot these Banelings coming. Oh, you tried to do a pylon block because you were worried about the mineral line. Ah.
Yeah, I thought he was going to run into my third. I didn't realize that he was going to chase my High Templar.
Okay. I think you should have just dropped overcharges there, though, right? Rather than trying to pylon block. As cute as the pylon block is, if he reacts quickly, he can just click a single Baneling on it and it'll blow up anyway. Whereas if you did a double overcharge, you did do a single overcharge. And your pylon block didn't actually work out. So yeah, you just a slight kind of misjudgment error there, trying to go for the pylon block when it was not as important as just watching the frontal fight. Obviously a great move by him to distract you, and that really was your undoing. So what do you think? Full wall on the back, or just a single pylon spotting up there? Which one do you prefer?
Like the thing is, if you look at my main right now, I added 2 extra gateways.
Yep.
And I usually go up to 10 gateways if I'm on 4 bases. Like, you almost never see pros do this, but it's just so much easier to macro for me.
Oh yeah,
so I guess I could just put those 2 gates honestly to complete the wall up there. Because in the early game, I really like my SimCity at the 3rd base. Like with the 2 cannons behind there, it's almost impossible for Zerg to run by me. But I guess, like, as he can send more Banelings in the late game, it's probably better to just wall that off with the extra 2 gateways.
Yeah, and I mean, even if he brings some Hydras over there and, like, breaks them down for free, it's not the end of the world, right? Like, if he kills a gateway or 2, it's buying you a lot of time, and gateways are very cheap.
True, yeah.
Okay, cool. So I think that was definitely the point where he won this game. That little Baneling thing distracting you. Because I feel like you were perfectly well prepared here. I feel like if you had a second robo a bit faster and you're already building 2 Immortals, that would be great. But yeah, with force fields, cannons, and storms, and having 2 Archons up already, like, you're so well prepared to destroy this fight, man. And just looking at your hotkey layout, you've got your main army on 1, High Templar up on number 9. Is that actually number 9, or is that like a custom?
I'm using the core. Okay,
cool. Yeah, if you land those force fields, I feel like you're so fine there, man.
This is actually something I've never thought about. What's the priority here? Do I force field first and then storm, or?
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. I mean,
like, I'm always so scared of force fielding because usually my Archons are in the front and then they just break my own force fields. So it's really hard to, like, force field them away from everything. Like, I kind of do have trouble with that.
I mean, in this case, because he kind of got on top of you, yeah. I personally don't even focus on force fields that much once it gets to this point. Force fields are just for if you're a little bit slow to react, to be fair. Like, ideally, you just wouldn't have been distracted. You would have dropped that storm a few seconds earlier. But especially because your Archons aren't up front, like your Zealots were in a bad position. They were at the front of your army, your Zealots and Sentries, you would have needed to do it. But normally, I think Storms should always be your focus. It's just in a scenario where you're caught off guard, force fields become pretty important. So the thing is, the other way you could have handled this is not even 1 second earlier, but literally the moment he's stepping into cannon range, you could already be dropping force fields. Like, you kind of want to be the one attacking into him, if you think about it that way. Like, yeah, you're waiting for him to come to your base, but then you want to be engaging onto him, right? You don't want to just be sitting back, because you want to make sure your Archons and Immortals are up front, and you want to make sure you're dropping Storms. Like, 3 seconds earlier, before this point. you want to already have a
Right.
few force fields down, zoning out half of this army, right? So if you just dropped like 2-3 force fields on the bottom side, all those units on the bottom are kind of trapped behind each other, and the banelings are just coming in on the north, and you just drop a storm smack bang in the middle of those banelings. Yeah, they hit a few cannons. That's about it. And he has to either disengage, or if he still keeps attacking, his units are going to clump up really bad around the force fields, and you're going to like have really easy storm targets. But I think definitely
So like
yeah, sorry.
I'm not even trying to like force field the Banes away then. Like I rather try to force field this army in or
Oh no, force field them away. Yeah. Still
okay,
force field them away, but
okay.
you're only force fielding like half of the army. So like I said, like 2 seconds before this, like
Right.
like before he gets in there, you want to be doing that. Here. Or even a second earlier. Force field, force field, force field, just from the edge of that ledge, straight up. And that just sections off his army super badly. If he chooses to keep attacking through
Right.
that, it's really bad for him. Because you're at this crucial point where definitely the gases should have already been down on your fourth, by the way. But you're at this crucial point where it's like, well, he needs to do damage right now because you've got these two Archons, which you should be morphing. You didn't get a chance to morph them. You were too slow to morph those as well because you were distracted there. So you lost. There should have been 2 more Archons. If you buy yourself another 20 seconds, you've got 4 Archons, 3 Immortals. Your Storms are going to get more value. Like, you're unbreakable. So, yeah. So I think you got to be really technical with how you do that. Definitely, you could do, the noob thing and just make a second robo before 4th base and take a really late 4th. Kind of do it like Mana style, where you can watch like Mana play PvZ and you know he's not confident in ever securing a 4th base. So he sits on 3 base forever. And the thing is, that works really well up to like until you're playing top 15 GM or something like that. And then, when you're playing the best Zergs, they're going to shit on you if you do that. So you're trying to play a bit more of an ambitious style. You're trying to play, what you'd be playing against the best guys in the world. And that's cool because it pushes you to improve your play. So let's try and play another game here. You can host up again.
Sure.
And it's interesting because I'm really just kind of pondering all the different little details, and I'm going to keep looking for some more in this game. But I think if we do, boil it down, it's going to be, no matter what map you choose, just try to wall off that third or whichever angle you feel they can slide banelings in. Okay, yeah, we'll play Abyssal again, which makes it easy. Make sure you wall that off with those extra gates.
Right.
And then just as soon as he's engaging on you, you want to be kind of move forward and drop force fields on half of his army. Get those extra Archons in. Once you get to a certain amount of meat in front of your High Templar, it just becomes so impossible for him to engage into it, especially if you keep your cannons alive as well as having like 4 or 5 Archons, 4 or 5 Immortals, and Storm. It's like he just has to start counter-attacking and dropping and stuff. He has to do fancy shit because he's not going to break you front on. Awesome, man.
One thing I was wondering about just before we start this game, like I've usually been doing it the way that I've been getting 4 High Templar to gather energy, and then the next 6 High Templar are going to go into 3 Archons.
Yep.
So I kind of have like a wall in front of my army, and only then will I start warping in High Templar 5 and 6 for Storm. Do you think like this is an order I should change or just keep it?
No, that's perfect. That's really good.
Okay.
I think going straight for like 6 Storm High Templar is just silly.
Seems so greedy. Yeah.
And I mean, I've seen, some players, sometimes I've seen Showtime in the past only ever get 4 Storm High Templar.
Right.
And he just never loses them and is like super careful with where he drops storms. But I think going up to 6 is usually nice because otherwise, sometimes you drop 1 or 2 storms that don't hit that much and then you're out of AoE and it's like, fuck. So I think that's the perfect way of doing it. Yeah.
All right,
sweet, man. Good luck. Kick some ass.
I'll try.
Yeah. So also remember with the Warp Prism, even if he's ready for it, just leave it on that side of the map. Just kind of rotate it between his bases. And if you don't have the APM, you can just even shift click it. You can just be like, go towards the main, go back towards the natural like 3 or 4 times. And it'll actually, because he's got Overlord spotting, it'll actually force him to move his units back and forth usually. It's kind of a dumb little thing, but it can drain his APM.
All right,
good luck.
Thanks.
one last thing. If you are kind of up against the wall defending, +3 is really not important. +2 is very important. +3 is not as important. So you can always delay that for a little bit and just focus on building more Archons, that sort of stuff. If you ever end up in a tight spot. But otherwise, just do your thing, man. Good luck.
Great, thanks.
Okay. Rat. It's going to be interesting to see how this one pans out. Yeah, really not sure. When it comes to the details, I feel like it is just the smallest things, and I feel like I didn't really expect Varen to have such a clean opening game one, to be honest. Even though it didn't really do any damage and stuff, I felt like the macro is really good. There wasn't that much to criticize. I feel like there's probably going to be more basic areas this game. So we're going to have to see how it goes. I'm very curious.
The firstborn shall persevere.
Because it takes so long to get across here, this is good. You'll notice he counts the drones there to make sure he's not being all in. Very good play. He always gets the second and third gateway so early, right on time. It's beautiful. I just started doing this opening again recently, and my execution has been a little bit off. I've been dropping those gateways like now, about 15 seconds after he's doing it. But yeah, his timings, I think he's got this refined really well. It's actually really nice. Very happy with it, yep. Adept's on hold position in the gap there. Probe is going to be able to take that that base. He's got the wall plugged in.
Glory to the Daemon.
Pylon creates a nice little choke point there in case Zerglings rush in. I'm going to see that third base go down. Because it's third Nexus and then the Adept will walk in. So he should be transforming into Warp Gates now. Yep, he's just started it. And he'll have 300 minerals right as those Warp Gates finish morphing. Oh, beautiful. Alright.
The firstborn shall persevere.
Yeah, this is actually a little bit cleaner execution on this push this time, in terms of timing it out, because he warped in all there. I think that was really well done. Mamba seems actually very well prepared back at home. 45 drones on just one gas, couple of banelings morphing, plus one melee on the way. Yeah, this is... Mamba's good. Mamba's very good. Very crisp play. I feel like maybe Mamba would struggle if the first two Adepts did like one of those sneaky Showtime attacks. She loves to do so much. So this is a very safe way of doing it there, but that actually worked out. I was like, holy shit, this is such an overly safe way of playing it. But he saw the drone count on the 30, saw a lot of links and veins. I think he's kind of knowing, I'm okay. Robo is down. Did we get the Forge down? I don't think the Forge is down yet. So the Forge is a little bit later this game. Let's start writing a couple of notes. Forge was a tad late. But yeah, probe count seems to be okay. Templar Archive is going to go down before the extra gateways once again, which you can afford to do against the Ling Bane opening, as we talked about earlier. Observer's out. I would love to see that Observer out on the map, to be honest. So that's actually something I think he didn't do last game either. Observer on the map. Because that can spot fast Hydra Ling timings, check saturation / fourth timing, etc. So I think that Observers should be on the map. Yeah. I mean, he gets hallucination at a good timing, but he definitely could use that.
Engaging the enemy. Engaging the enemy.
Glory to the Daemon.
Alright, Warp Prism's out, Mortal's on the way. Second Robo is down really much faster this time. I still want to see him go for a fast fourth though, I don't want to see him neglect that, just because I talked about the faster second Robo. He's getting these High Templar up, they're not quite as early as in the previous game. What do we got, 77 drones. Hydrogen's only just finished though, so there's still quite a bit of time actually he's got. I really feel like that Warp Prism should be going to that main base now. But he's busy macroing, so that is more important. Doesn't have unlimited APM. That's fair enough.
I return to serve. Research.
4 High Templar are out. Double Immortal production is on the way. Charge is on the way. It's a well-timed charge. Here we go. This is good. Focus fire the drones. Focus fire the drones. Yeah, only focus fired one drone. Could have got 2 or 3 there if he was a little bit quicker on that. So that was kind of my level of micro. You know, decent, but not great. Ooh, that's tough. So he just lost a lot of probes there on the natural. Did he immediately change the rally points there? Yes, he did. So he's pumping out probes to replace that. That's actually not too bad. Drops 2 cannons there as well. Not a bad choice. Has the really thick wall here, which is sexy. Double Immortals on the way. Really needs to be making Archons now, though. Plus 2 attackers on the way. And that Warp Prism needs to be doing a little bit more.
Mineral field depleted.
Baneling drop hurt you, but that's okay. Just a bit of a slow reaction. Definitely something you should work on.
I return to serve.
Archon. Morph in. Work slow. Get back, Archon. He should just be dropping some more spirits now, I think. Maybe. A little bit hard. So these High Templar are actually getting very close to double storms. He should be completely fine there. And that was actually completely fine for the start, but needs more Archons desperately. Ooh, terrible storm. No, no, he's not storming properly. Oh my god. He just moved command to all of his Templar. Oh no. Alright, tap rewind if you haven't left already. GG's bad luck.
Oh wait, I already left, sorry.
You already left? No worries. Okay, because I just want to go, just hop into the replay and fast forward to that last fight. So a little bit tough there. You know, he got you just kind of caught you just not ready for it. Cannons were a little bit later this time. You know, and definitely those cannons do help out a lot. So what went on in that last fight? Do you feel like you just weren't quite ready for it, or?
It was kind of, I don't know, like, I was having some trouble with my hotkeys. I don't even know why. Like, some Archons were just moving forward, and they were kind of not in my army control group. Like, I don't know why.
Yeah.
And then, like, the Baneling drop in the natural really, like, did so much damage that, like, I couldn't afford the cannons at the fourth phase very early. Like, I think that's why they were late. And then also the Bane drop at the third phase. Like, it was all pretty pretty tough to deal with. And then just in the main fight, I don't know, like this happens so much to me. I just freeze up in fights where I have to use a lot of spellcasters.
Yeah. Now, I noticed you dropped 2 cannons on your natural, which is kind of nice, but I really feel like only a single cannon is needed, because realistically, even with 2 cannons, if he just comes in from a slightly different angle, that base is still vulnerable, right? So I feel like a cannon, as nice as it is to have a cannon to defend a drop, it's kind of like not the most necessary thing, but you want to have them, you know, at different bases, because it's rare for a Zerg to just keep hitting the same base. So I really feel I would have preferred you to drop 1 cannon at your 3rd as well, because I was thinking about that when you did it. I didn't mention it, but I was like, you know, 2 cannons there? I was like, huh. You know, I'd rather just a cannon kind of behind your 3rd mineral line or something like that, right?
Right.
I don't think losing the probes, you know, as annoying as it is, losing 11 probes, that's 4 banelings. You know, that's a droppable drop. That is money. It's definitely better for him than it is for you, but I don't think it's game ending. I think you're kind of okay there. Definitely your Archons were coming a little bit later here, and this is a little bit different for you as well. You're used to already having your Archons up slightly earlier, because, you know, this time you went for more Immortals. But you've got 5 Immortals in here, and your army is so much more robust. Like, these Banelings that come in at 8 minutes 40, they don't really hit much at all. They hit like an Archon and activate some Immortal barriers, and that's it, you know? But unfortunately, you know, that drop on the back of your 3rd just totally throws you off, and all your High Templar walk forward to their death.
Yeah.
It's weird, right? Because Abyssal, it's great map because it's got a choke point, but it's also something where so often we see players getting caught behind their own Nexus in that northern area. And this is why, yeah, you kind of really do want to not get pushed too far behind your Nexus, because it does get bloody awkward once that happens. If you get pushed behind your Nexus, you really need to split your army on both sides of the Nexus, I feel. Have High Templar on both sides, like below and above your Nexus, so that you can just kind of like, you know, move towards the units, drop some storms, pull back some units on one side, pull back some units on one side, you know, move again, and try to stay in line with that Nexus without letting them, you know, come in and get the gross angle. Of course, the Baneling drop on your 3rd, if you had a cannon there, you still would have needed to drop that. This is just good timing by him. He really is making you multitask. But having a cannon there is really good, because you know what? He does not look at that Baneling drop at all. So if you had a cannon, he would drop Banelings and they would go and hit the cannon. They wouldn't hit the probes, because he's not watching it.
Swarm forces.
And he had no vision before that to know. So he would have dropped the Banelings. If you had the cannon behind the mineral, they would have ran over and then tried to hit the cannon. And they might have splashed a couple of probes, but it wouldn't have been that bad. And it could be something which you actually ignore. You know, all that matters is the frontal fight in these situations. So if you just kind of really hone in on that engagement, you know, I think this would have worked out okay. Having the cannons later, it makes it harder for you, but I think you had so many storms here. You had 8 storms for this engagement, so I think there's no way you should be able to break it here. Once again, pretty crisp opening, pretty clean. Is it going to be a cakewalk? No, he's clearly a very good player. But yeah, I think you can do this. So, big mistake that game. Number 1 was not that huge a mistake. It was that first Baneling drop. So let's double check that, by the way. In terms of vision, because you didn't have a pylon well behind the mineral line, you were very exposed. So this is something where having that pylon where you put it on your natural is good, because it's close to the Nexus, so it's a fast warp-in pylon. But since this is such an exposed mineral line, maybe we should just consider always putting the pylon way to the right, up against the cliff on your natural, just to give you more warning. What do you think?
I think it's probably a good idea, because I have I have the gateways at the natural, so there's like a fast warp in anyways. Yeah. It's not very far from the Nexus at all, so probably just putting that spotter pylon up there is a little bit better. Yeah. Like I do this sometimes. I think it was even kind of misplaced. Like usually I have very mapped out building placement on all the maps. That's why I want to play on Abyssal, because I haven't like done it for the new maps yet. Right. But like knowing where your buildings go makes your macro so much faster, I think. Just because I don't have to think about it all the time. But I think like moving that pylon up a little bit is probably a pretty good idea. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's really good. Like any map where there's like a really good kind of easy drop angle for him, try to always have a spotting pylon back there. Is probably a good move. Like, so that's a good thing. You know, these little things, they're so small, but they can actually make such a big difference. So, I'm gonna write this at the top of your notes. Whoops. spotting pylon way on the edge behind natural on Abyssal, and the same on any maps with, you know, droppable mineral lands, just to give you that little bit more time to react, because I'm just rewatching that drop coming in. Oh, something else, because you guys were playing red and green, I believe. When you play in game, does your opponent show up as green, or is it just always like red versus blue or whatever? Sorry.
No, like I have my default color set to teal, I think. Like my own color, and then my opponent's always red.
Okay, good. Just wanted to double check that, because, you know, some people somehow have never realized that there's, you know, the setting where it shows your opponent's color rather than being red, and it's like, yo,
Right.
I'm playing a white player on a snow map, and it's like, oh my god.
Yeah, I've noticed that before.
Okay, I think this is good. Let's hop out. Let's quickly squeeze in one more game before we finish up here. Okie dokie. Here we go. All right, so host up one more. Let's go. All right, whenever you're ready, start her up. Already
Great.
things looking pretty good, so stick with that faster second robo. I think it was really good. Just having
Yeah,
that.
it felt really good as well. Like, holy shit, I had so many more models.
The
Like in an army where half of your units, like in an army where half your army is actually spellcasters, like sentries and High Templar. It's so good to just have some meat in there.
Oh yeah.
Like, holy shit.
Oh yeah. So remember, wall off on the third once again. Spotting pylon behind the natural, and yeah, and if he does go for baneling drops, make sure you get a cannon behind, you know, multiple mineral lines, not just the one. And at the very least, that's going to force the APM out of them. So remember, even if you still end up losing a whole mineral line, I guarantee you, if your opponent's microing that, he's eating some storms on the front at the same time. So it always
Right.
balances out.
All right, we'll try that.
All right, good luck, have fun, man. Kick some ass.
Oh, by the way, just a little thing.
Yep.
Like I wanted to talk about like some mentality stuff. Just for like a little bit. Do you think we can squeeze it in this session, or would you rather like want to do it potentially next?
No, we're pretty much out of time, so we're already going to be going a little bit over time by doing this, but we can talk about it in the next one, probably. And we'll see how we go with that.
Okay, cool.
I need to go to the bathroom really bad, so I'm just going to be gone for the first couple minutes of this game, but I shouldn't miss anything since it's the same openings. I'll be right back.
All right.
Good luck, have fun, man.
Sure, thanks.
Okay, guys. BRB, professional pig. Morning coffee flying through my body. BRB.
firstborn shall persevere. Glory to the Daylong. The firstborn shall persevere. Glory to the Daylong.
Research complete.
The firstborn shall persevere.
Upgrade complete.
Justice has come. I have met the enemy. The firstborn shall persevere.
Engaging the enemy. Engaging the enemy. I return to serve. Engaging the enemy.
Alright, that took longer than I thought it would. Jeez, but these for dinner last night. Holy shit. Oh my god. Okay, so in terms of losses, we've only seen a single probe go down. What else are we talking? What else are we talking? Only 71 drones this time. Might actually hit a lot faster. Port Prism up there. Could be a little bit more active. If it already dropped before those Hydras got there, that would have been nice. Anyway, second Robo's done. Not as early as it was last game. That's acceptable. Ooh, only 2 guys on that gas. That's a real shame. This gas is so important. I feel like these gases should be finished already as well. So this is actually something I need to harp on about, is those gas geysers. Ooh, Chargelet Walking was nice there. Are there any storms left? I think there's one. Good storm. It's not quite enough. Ooh. GG's. Mamba's good, man.
Yeah, he is way better than me.
I can see certain things are coming together a bit nicer for you here. Now, taking a look at it, unfortunately, I was AFK for, you know, quite a few minutes at the start of that game. In terms of the units lost, you didn't really, you know, get anything. You got, I think it was a single drone, and that's fine. That's okay. You saw there was plenty of Lingbane. You were like, yep, let's not risk it. Let's back off, go straight for those sentries. Fair enough. You know, the way he's playing, as often happens when you do the same thing against a Zerg multiple times in a row, and you kind of go on autopilot, and the Zerg kind of goes on autopilot, I feel like this is the point where if this was actually a series, it would be like, oh, well, you know what, this time, actually, I built another 7 gateways rather than the Forge and the Templar Archives. Like, you know,
Right,
and,
yeah.
Here's my 10
Yeah,
gate
yeah,
Adept
definitely.
with the first Warp Prism. Get fucked, you greedy Zerg. So, and I think that definitely could work, you know, because he's still just sitting on the initial defense of 30 Zerglings, 4 Banelings. You know, his Hydra Den's incredibly late. He doesn't have a Roach Warren. And if you were, you know, were able to surprise him with that sort of move, which you definitely could because he's not scouting, other than just checking that the 3rd Nexus is down. You know, he doesn't have Overlord speed. I think, yeah, you know, you definitely could kill him. So this is something to keep in mind. A loss isn't always as bad as it seems, especially when you've been repeating the same build over and over with someone, because the games start playing out differently. So I want you to take that to heart and say, you know what, I am actually improving and playing a lot better in these games. Believe me when I say that, you are. And you know what, this is a great, there was this great little moment where when he ran in with those Zerglings at 6:30, where if you had managed to trap those, that would have been amazing. You just didn't quite have the meat to risk catching him, I guess. I don't know, maybe you did.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, with the Adept Warp in, I really would love to force field him in, actually. I can understand why you didn't, though. That's fine. He actually stops at a lower drone count in this game as well. He in the previous games was going up to...
Yeah, this is way earlier.
Yeah. So he was going 77, like basically 80 drones. You know, gases on the 4th before full burn. This time it was 71 drones. Your second robo was a little bit later this time from the previous game. So part of me likes that previous robo timing. You know, when I first said faster robo, do it at the same time as the 4th. I'm writing in your document now. Let's go second robo around 6 minutes, you know, somewhere before the 4th base, basically. That'd be pretty sexy. The High Templar, you know, they were walked in at a good time. They were pretty good. Him already taking the rocks down earlier is nice for him. Hey, you get cannons up here. Where's that mothership for? She's just down there. Okay, that's fine.
I'm just wondering if I could do like anything in terms of map vision, because like I don't really. The thing is, like in most of the matchups, I'm actually playing with an Oracle, so I'm kind of used to just have like constant map hacks on my opponent's army.
Oh yeah.
So like not knowing where he is actually so scary.
I forgot to
also part of the
mention
reason why I actually learned target builds.
Yeah, I mean, you definitely do play a little bit more blind here. It's okay for you to make an extra hallucination, even though it does make it, you know, a bit less energy on the defense. You definitely can make an extra hallucination and check it out. But personally, something I forgot to mention, I wrote it in the notes, is your first observer should always be going out across the map. This is something you haven't really been doing. And you can even potentially pick off creep tumors with the Warp Prism, with a little bit of a rotation, right?
Right.
We're finishing now. Yeah. Thanks. did. Yes, he played very well. Yeah, so that observer, you keep leaving it at home. If you go across the map in that every game, you can do some cool things. So what you really want to do is spot fast Hydra Ling timings, right? So check the fourth base timing. Oh, there's no fourth base at all. Holy fuck. Okay, here's the fourth base.
Right.
Let's check how hard he's droning it. You can bring it to the front, right? So your Warp Prism, by the way, this game, this is something you can definitely work on quite a lot as well. So your Warp Prism could have gone in a lot faster this game, right? It could have gone in, picked off a few drones. There was a window here for quite a while. When his Lings were on your side of the map, your Warp Prism was just idling. That's something where, you could have gone in multiple times. And then even when he brought the Ling Bane back there, he then moves them away. And it takes a while before his Hydras get there. So your Warp Prism didn't do anything this game. So that was, even though other things are doing better for you, that was worse this game by quite a lot. And the moment you lose the Warp Prism as well, it just makes your opponent's life so easy. But yeah, imagine you go in there, you kill a drone or two, he comes and sets up units, you go into the main, you kill a drone, or maybe you go into the main and then just back out because you see he's ready for it. And then you rotate back to the front, you pick off a few creep tumors, which makes a massive difference, by the way, if you can slow down the creep spread. And then, of course, you don't want to leave the observer out there forever, unless you don't mind losing it. Up to you. You might lose it some games, that's okay. But that'll give you warning as well if you're not coming across the map. So that definitely can make a difference. In this case, because you lost the Warp Prism, he pulled every single unit to the front. He didn't take any damage. You definitely should have found some damage earlier with the Warp Prism. And he also hit faster and was like a little bit greedier as well. So I feel like there's things that aren't starting to come together here for you. Looking at the key points, let's take a look at the top of our notes. Let's look at that while we finish up here. So we've got, here we go. So second robo around 6 minutes. Warp Prism, stay in position, rotate between bases, don't swap to the other side of the map. But not only that, be a lot more, aggro consistently with your Warp Prism. So it's something where if he's fully prepared, yeah, you can just do the, he's prepared, just shift click it back and forth where it looks like you're trying to find a way in, but you're not, because you're saying, well, this guy's totally in position. He's totally respecting it. But especially the first time your Prism gets over there, you should drop. Because, and you'll see this in pro games all the time, there's often a window where you can drop, 1 to 2 times before many Hydras get out. And remember, because they don't even have the Hydra upgrade, they don't shoot as far, they're not nearly as good at shooting down your Warp Prism. It's once the upgrade kicks in that they're like, oh, fuck, I can't go in there. There's fucking 2 Hydralisks on the edge. I'm not going to risk it, kind of thing. Full wall off on the third was doing a lot better. Spotting pylon on the edge behind your natural. Gases on your fourth base before it finishes is also something I'd want to see, because you're not quite getting there, so it's not really mattering in these games. But it's something where if your opponent's very good at, you're just doing that long non-stop Hydra Baneling battle on the front, I feel like the ability to just keep morphing in Archons is often what saves you there, right? Just keep building Immortals, keep morphing in Archons. Because you've got so much Storm. The way you're doing this, by the time the Hydra Baneling is actually hitting you, you always have a lot of Storm. You've got 8 Storms. The problem is always just the meat in front of it. Is there enough meat to actually make use of those Storms? Usually the answer's been no so far. Because once he gets through 1 or 2 Immortals, 1 or 2 Archons go down, suddenly your shit's just too exposed. But if you can kind of go, morph in 2 more Archons, morph in 2 more Archons, charge lot counterattack, etc., then it can be really good. Last point is, as the attack's hitting, hit a 12 charge lot counterattack. Now that's something you can do as an option as well, where your Warp Prism pokes in, it's annoying. And this is a bit more of a gamble. A bit more out there. Higher potential reward though. So your Warp Prism goes off and just hides, because you see he's pretty well prepared. He's got 5 Hydras and 10 Zerglings or something. You morph in some charge lots, you morph in some more charge lots. Obviously it's not taking priority over High Templar and Archons at home, but it can be it can be really massive, right? So then you go in with those charge lots just as he's attacking you, and he just gets like totally fucked on because his entire reinforce gets wrecked. Like that little squad tries to defend, it just gets chewed through, and that's only minerals for you. And as nice as cannons are at home, you know, this can be a little bit more damage potential and everything.
Yeah, I think I wasn't making use of all of my weapons anyway, so I think that's a pretty good idea.
Yeah, it's definitely not something you need to do every game or whatever, you know, kind of situational, but those sort of moves just have so much potential power. So I'm really loving the faster second robo and the more immortals that you're getting in. I'm liking the way you're kind of reacting to seeing Lingbane. I'm sure there's dozens of other situations that can arise in a game of StarCraft, but this is the meta right now, right? What he's doing there is this kind of 70 to 80 drone Hydra Baneling. We see these same situations arise over and over. So I feel like if you can get confidence in this situation, then that should carry over really well. Like you're gonna get some sick confidence going.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like I mean, in the past, I've really only been playing like 3-base timings. You know, mostly like Adept, Sentry, Immortal.
Yeah.
And that has been working really well for me. So like, but I decided to just like try some macro styles. It was horrible. Like I dropped like 500 MMR. I think the first week I started to play it. That's actually also why I play most of my games on a barcode because there's less pressure on me.
Yeah.
But like making this transition to being like a timing based player to just going full macro is so hard. Like
There's
I don't
so
know.
many details. It takes a while
Yeah,
to learn.
yeah.
And the thing is, you know, hats off to you because you don't want to be like a Haas where you're an absolute fucking genius at making weird shit work, and then you will throw so many leads because your fundamentals are utter trash, you know?
Yeah.
It's always hard to take, you know, where you've worked on one skill set really a lot to then shift to a different skill set. That's fucking hard, man. That's really hard. But doing it is so worth. It's so worth, you know, it really does help you out. It makes a big difference. So yeah, so that should be awesome, man. All right, so we're gonna finish up. We've gone quite a bit over time. That's okay for the first session, especially since I took a toilet break during it. So
Awesome.
did you send through payment for this session, or I'm just?
No. Like, are you fine with PayPal or?
Yep, no worries.
Then just send me the address and I'll like
Cool.
send the money right away.
Okay, so all right. And were you just doing the one-off for now, or the package?
Oh no, I'm just doing like 1 hour. Like I'm thinking probably not more than 1 hour per month, to be honest. Like I don't like to do too much coaching.
Yeah.
Because then I can't actually work on the stuff you told me. Like I think if we like meet again in like 4 weeks maybe, this should be like a way better use of the lessons.
No worries, man. Yep. So there's the thing. I just Discorded it to you, and I think that's a good idea. You know, you don't need constant coaching. I mean, the StarCraft, it's kind of. I mean, I wish it would be cool if we could all just afford to. I wish I could hire a clone of myself whose job was to sit there and analyze my replays and tell me what to do. But it also hurts your self-reliance a little bit, so it can be a bit tough if you get too used to someone else pointing out your mistakes and it's a game where things are constantly changing and you've got to always be, you know, able to understand and analyze yourself. So anyway, man, I got to go. But good session. I'll catch you next time. Let me know when you send that through and I'll mark it off on my records.
All right, great, man. Thanks for the lesson.
All right. See you later, mate.
See ya. Bye-bye.